Today we're going to be looking at a slightly simplified version of the Jeff Buckley version of Hallelujah, played in the same key and using the same chords as Jeff Buckley, but without many of the intricacies that Jeff uses. So we're going to have a capo on the 5th fret of our guitars, and I'll be naming the chords relative to the capo, so this will be G rather than the C that its actual pitch is. So we're going to be playing this on fingerstyle, using the fingers and the thumb on the right hand. The thumb's going to play the E, A and D strings, first finger on the G, second finger on the B, and third finger on the high E strings. So for our G chord here, we have second finger, low E string, 3rd fret, first finger, 2nd fret the A, and third finger, 3rd fret the B, and high E string, 3rd fret with the pinky finger. That's how it sounds in pitch. Then we're going to pick E, A, G, E and B together, back to the G. So thumb, thumb, first, thumb and third together, then catch a G again with the first finger there. Okay, so slowly. Then going to run down to an E minor 7 chord using the bass on the 2nd fret of the E, go to open. Then we'll play 2nd fret of the A, G, B and high E, and G again, open. So from the rundown, one more time. And then back to 2nd fret of the low E as we transition back into that G chord. That loops 3 times. The 3rd time does end slightly differently, but we'll talk about that in just a second. So we have slowly G, run down to the E minor, back up to the G, E minor. So the 3rd time through we have the G as normal, then the E minor. The only thing that's different is instead of the 2nd fret on the low E string as the last note, we're just going to play 2nd fret on the A string as we transition into a C chord. So G, E minor. And we'll go straight to our C chord. So we're going to play A, D, G, B and E together, G, D. Play the top part of the C again, so A, D, G. Then we'll swap to a D chord and play D, G, B. So that bar slowly is the C. Top part of the C, top part of the D. Then go back to our G chord. Same as normal. Just ending on the low E string at the 3rd fret there before we go back to the D chord. So when we go back to the D chord, we play it as we did before, D, G, B. Then we play D and high E with the high E open, hammering straight onto that 2nd fret there. Then play B, G. Okay, so. From the G. So the whole thing slowly is that G to E minor 3 times. 3rd time, and slightly differently, C, D, to that G, D, little hammer on there. Then we're going to go back to the G, starts off the same, E, A, G, and then B and E together, back to the G, then we have a walk up 2nd fret on the A, to the C chord. So G, C, so C, A, D, G, and then the D chord, D, G, B. That bar slowly is the G chord, E, A, G, B and E, G, and then 2nd fret of the A, walking up to the C chord, D chord. We're going to go down to an E minor 7 chord, and we'll play E, A, G, B and E together, G. Then we have a transition to a C chord, 2nd fret on the A, going into the C. So E minor, A, D, G, B and E together, and then G, down to that D chord. Okay, our last bar there, E minor 7. Transition to the C. Then we've got this little part here. D, going down to like a B7 with a D sharp in the bass. This only really happens on the Jeff Buckley version, so it's D open, open D, G, B, and then D and high E together. Then pick G and B again, and down to a B7 over D sharp, which is first fret on the D, second fret on the G string, open B, second fret on a high E, and we've got exactly the same picking, so D, G, B, D and E together, then G, B. Okay, so we're going back to our E minor 7 chord, same picking as before, E, A, G, B and E, G, D. Just repeating twice. The second time there we end on the second fret of the A string. So E, A, G, B and E, G, D, E, A, G, B and E, G. Second fret on the A, going to a C chord, and we have A, D, G, B and E, G, D, and then again A, D, G, B and E. Top two strings there, running back down as normal. So then this time we go to an E minor, but without the high part in. This again only happens on the Jeff Buckley version. We have E, A, G, top two strings, G, D, and then same again. But we're finishing on the second fret of the A, so we can transition again to the C chord, where we play A, D, G, top two, G, D, A, D, G, top two. Exactly the same twice there. Going back to the G chord, same as normal. E, A, G, top two, G, back to the low E string at the third fret before we go to a D chord, D, G, B, E, B, G. And that's the whole pattern for the entire song. So G, go to E minor 7 3 times. We have C, 1, 2, 3, 4 for the D, then G, 1, 2, D minor, G, 2, 3, 4, C to D, E minor 7 to C. Then we have that little D, going to the B7 with the D sharp in the bass, E minor 7, full bar there, and then C, full bar, E minor, full bar, C, full bar, then G, 1, 2, D, 3, 4, and repeat. So slowly we have the G to E minor, and this happens 3 times. Third time we have that slightly different ending to take us into the C chord. Then the G, D with the hammer on, back to the G, C, D, E minor 7. C, then the D, B7, D sharp, E minor 7, C, E minor, C, G,